Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Stan Houston with Interesting Ideas. We're back on a Tuesday, and sometimes on Tuesday we begin with the CQ, just because that's a fun thing to begin with. The Morse code, which I learned, many years ago as a ham radio operator. And CQ, CQ, CQ meant I'd like to talk to somebody. Please pay attention. Please listen. Please respond. And CQ. Hey, interesting ideas, sometimes inspiring ideas, sometimes irritating ideas, maybe innovative ideas, all kinds of ideas. But remember, nothing happens until someone has an idea. And then there's some insight and perhaps some imagination. And then from that, there'll be a variety of things that can happen, and that an idea can become a reality that is good. You can have insight, influence, impact, and a greater amount of real income, which of course is not necessarily money, but good things can come to you. And we want that to happen. Interesting Ideas is to help you live better, starting right now. We've got a couple conversations coming up. I think in the midst of the mess of Donald Trump and his legal difficulties, I'm going to be a little bit challenging, and I'm going to do what some people would call the Rush Limbaugh radio way, and that is you want half of the people to be mad at you, and you want half of the people to be glad with you. And if you can do that, you'll probably be successful. And of course, that's what he did. But I'm going to simply propose that no matter what, Donald Trump will emerge as a winner, maybe the winner. That doesn't mean he will win the election, but I think he will emerge as the eventual winner, and I'll make my case for that. And that's not because I have any particular love for anybody, but I'm a pretty keen observer of the human condition, and I do admire people who are fearless and brave and bold, and perhaps that will be a part of my story. And some of you will like it, and some of you will not. But that means that we will learn something. And I'd like to hear your response because I'm curious, and there's an old childhood song that said, if that's being bad, then I'm furious because all I really am is curious. I would like to do today, however, something that I've been thinking about for a while, and it came to me in a particular way, which I will not discuss at the moment. But I read through an article the last week that appeared in Epic Times, and it said why men should dress well. And I think perhaps maybe sometime this week I will kind of read it or perform it or share it with you. But my topic today is as you see. I'm old. I remember when the word casual was kind of a bad word. That's right. May I tell you more? It's just an interesting idea, and maybe it might be helpful to you. I'm Stan Houston. That's the program for today. It's going to be a short one, but hopefully thoughtful, and it begins right now. I admit that I'm old-fashioned. I really am. There's a lot about, as I was watching a presentation about age of innocence and the way they performed and dressed in the upper societies of the 1870s, 1880s in New York City, I turned to my wife and said, I think I would have liked that. And she said, I'm sure you would have, Stan. That's right. I was poor, and so dressing well was hard. We had more than our fair share of hand-me-downs, and thankfully a number of people, when their children grew out of their clothes, they were still reasonably good, and they would pass them on to my parents, and they were hand-me-downs, but oftentimes they were of far better quality than we could have. So we accepted that and enjoyed that. But it was always, I really would like to be able to dress a little bit better. And I'm not a fashion plate in any means, but I like a coat, and I like a white shirt, and I like a tie. And in many ways, I actually preceded a man named Trump with the tie. Of course, he was the one, I liked it, he was the one who decided to make it and make money doing it. I sometimes am having fun when I'm standing in the airport waiting line, as we're going through all of that. And the waiting line, the surveillance line, the pick up your luggage line. And I will turn to people as we're putting things together, and then I say, "Would you like to know how old I am?" And of course, people, they don't know what to say to that. And I say, "I'm old enough to remember when flying was fun, and you even dressed up to do it." Does that ring a resonant bell with any of you? Well, let me just go through the word casual. Now, here are some of the descriptions of the word casual. Relaxed and unconcerned. All right. Now, this is a description, and for some of you, you'd say, well, that sounds pretty good. Well, okay. As I say, it used to be a bit of a pejorative or a bad word. It was a description of, okay. Made or done without thought or premeditation. Done or acting in a desultory way. Done or acting without sufficient care or thoroughness. It could be not regular or permanent, like employment. You attend church casually. You're casual in your attendance. You're casual in your timeliness. Okay. Without formality of style or manner. Suitable for everyday wear rather than formal wear. Or it could be a person who does something irregularly or on a temporary basis. Casualness. That is part of the descriptive noun that comes from there. That describes a person's lifestyle, maybe their performance, maybe their style, maybe something about their substance or their character. That's all I want to think about today. All I simply want to do today is for you to do a little bit of an inventory. Would the world be a little bit better if we were a little less casual about so many things? Now, I remember, actually, again, this dates me, is that all of a sudden some of the businesses began to adapt what was called Casual Friday. And the idea was that, obviously, Monday through Thursday, you are expected to be in, business dress. However, since Friday was the last day of the week, and maybe particularly in the summer, we were going to let you out a little bit early so you could get to the lake or get on a weekend, a vacation or something like that, and so that you could dress casually. Now, I worked at that time. I was consulting with a very well-dressed gentleman, and he had been poor, and he wasn't poor anymore. He had done very well in his life and business, and he was very, very good at what he did. And I was coaching particularly him, but not him as much as because he was a man of influence, which was now his role in life is to be gone from the office a lot as he was a leader of a national trade association. And so he asked me to coach him and then come in and coach his young colleagues and employees to keep them doing well. And it was one of my first success stories because I did that. And he said to me, Stan, I'm going to be gone so much, so if you can keep my people motivated, setting goals, doing their work, and I only lose 10% of my income that year, I'll be fine with that. Because I'm not there. I won't be able to close the deals. Well, it just so happened is that we had a 10% gain in his income, and so I at least got partial credit for that. Well, good coaching can do that, and I think I'm pretty good, and we did well. But then the subject of Casual Friday came up, and his young colleagues were talking about it, and he just listened politely, and then he said, ladies and gentlemen, we had about 2 ladies and about 4 gentlemen, maybe I was one. He said, we will not be doing Casual Friday. In fact, he then said with a smile and a little bit of a grin, so you knew he was kidding, if everybody goes casual on Friday in our town and city, I think we might go in formal tux wear. We will be different. We will be dressed to the nines on Friday so that people know that we are not casual, that we are classic and classy and committed. We're not like everybody else. And then he said those 2 great words, we're different. There we go. I would just suggest that perhaps if you want to make your mark in the world, you are discovering ways to be different. Okay? In a positive way. Perhaps in a striking way. Maybe in a kindness way. Perhaps you learn how to write personal notes. Perhaps you use a fine fountain pen, like I kind of do sometimes. It's a bit of a statement that you are finding ways that people will know that you're not quite like everybody else. You're different. Perhaps there's a little bit of mystery about you. And like I said, that's going to be a little bit of the continuation where I talk about why a man should dress well. There we go for this Tuesday. Now, I'm not going to give any instructions about women, except that I will say that I am going steady with a woman for over 58 years who's been my life partner. And despite some of the years she has learned very much the art of image management. She's an image consultant, and she knows how to make the man in her life. She says, you will not wear that. I would prefer that you not wear that. I will not go out in public if you would do that with you. But I've been pretty well trained, and we're pretty similar in temperament. So the other day we went to the doctor's office dressed in our usual, and we noticed that we were quite different in the waiting room. Well, you're going to see the doctor, and you're going to take off some of your clothes. Well, the doctor then looked at us afterwards and said, my, you're all dressed up. Are you doing something special now? And we said, no. No, we just came to the doctor's office. We might go out and have lunch, but that's it. And she said, well, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. That's our story. I'm Stan Houston. Let's think a little bit about maybe we could transform things to the better if we might decide to be just in some ways a little less casual. I'll be back. Again, thank you for your time. We do a lot of coaching and consulting and teaching, and we can help you. First of all, we're going to have the story of why you need, and go back and listen to my previous program from last week saying it all comes down to radio. And I mean that. In today's world, you're going to have to learn how to use radio in some way in your business, your marketing, your personal presence, and the mark you hope to make in the world. Doesn't mean you have to formally do it like I do, but you have to understand it, and from time to time you have to not only understand it, you're going to have to do it. If you are wanting to be a leader, you will have to learn how to use, or at least how to understand, and how not to be tricked or abused by the radio. Without a radio today, without electricity and radiation waves, very little would get done in life and business as we know it today. So maybe you should dress up. By the way, I usually dressed up when I was on the radio, and there was a good reason for that, even though nobody saw me. But I then still wore, many times, a coat and a tie when I was on the radio. And if you want to know why, we'll talk about that some other time. But I'm done for today, and you have much to do. It's a busy Tuesday, so all the best and blessings to you. And it will be a challenging week, and let's be more than conquerors as we press on. Best and blessings to you today, on your family. May it go well. Bye for now.